Well, welcome everyone to the next edition of our Fiduciary Fitness podcast. My name is Colin Clark, and I am really excited about this next couple segments of our Fiduciary Fitness podcast because we have Kelly Hahn from JP Morgan. And if you're not familiar as a plan sponsor, JP Morgan creates this wonderful content. You know, a lot of our partners create great content, but JP Morgan actually puts out what's called a guide to retirement. And so I'm really pleased to introduce Kelly Hahn, who's an executive director, and she's a defined contribution strategist from JP Morgan Asset Management. And she's responsible for developing and delivering these retirement insights with the defined contribution team to improve retirement outcomes. As a plan sponsor, and if you've been a part of our in-person programs the past decade, we really focus on kind of retirement 2.0 and making sure that we're looking at, hey, how are we affecting the retirement readiness of employees? So Kelly, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Colin. Pleasure to be here.
So just to give everyone listening today an introduction, if they're not familiar, what's kind of the background or history of the Guide to Retirement? How did it come to fruition, and how long have you guys been doing it?
So Guide to Retirement is, I would say, one of the most popular insights programs that we have at JP Morgan Asset Management. And I think one of the reasons why it's gotten so popular over the years is because it really is a holistic content that goes through one's entire retirement planning journey, from saving to spending in retirement, as well as investing. It offers a conceptual framework for people to think about how to plan for retirement, but we also lean pretty heavily on data to tell us where people are struggling so that we could really hone in on some of those really relevant and timely issues to be able to help people address those important issues as they go through planning for retirement.
So as a plan sponsor, how do you think this content is valuable as it relates to how I might have fiduciary responsibilities around the retirement plan?
Yes, the plan sponsors really use Guide to Retirement, I would say, in two ways. The first is to educate their participants around the importance of planning for retirement and how they should go about planning for one. That's one way. And the other way that many sponsors use is to educate themselves around some of the issues that are really important and timely for participants as they go towards, saving for retirement. So as an example, some of the plan sponsors who may offer a target date fund as a default solution, it's really helpful for them to know what savings thresholds that their employee base may need to achieve in order to have a comparable lifestyle in retirement. So we have retirement savings checkpoints in the Guide to Retirement that are really helpful for the sponsors in that way. And the other way that many plan sponsors use the guide is if they're thinking about offering an income solution, they want to know how people go about spending in retirement. So we've got income replacement rates that they can look at across many different income ranges, as well as how spending really changes through people's lifetime. So they found the content to be very helpful as they think about the solutions that they want to offer to their employees.
It's really interesting too, because we just had one of our in-person workshops and had several plan sponsors in the room. And we talked a lot about the generational aspects of retirement and the accumulation phase, getting prepared for retirement. So I know from the history of the Guide to Retirement, you guys deal with the data and how you can work with the generational workforce. Is that fair?
Yes, totally. Because we wanted to cover the entire, the lifestyle or lifetime needs of planning for retirement and being in retirement. So the checkpoints that I mentioned give indication around how much people need to be aiming in terms of their savings goals, but people who are transitioning into retirement, what are some of the things that they need to be prepared for, like the income replacement needs? And also in retirement, what are the goals they have that they want to achieve and how to construct portfolios against each of those goals, as well as looking at spending and healthcare costs, the probabilities of encountering, disabilities, et cetera. So it really goes across all generations, people who are starting in their work and all the way through people who are fully in retirement.
And also it deals with people across different socioeconomic categories as well. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. So when you look at the retirement savings checkpoints, income replacements, we start at the lowest $30,000 income level, just given the availability of data. That's the lowest point we can go to. And then we go all the way to $300,000 in income. And when we look at spending behaviors, we would look at what we consider mass affluent, people with less than $1 million in wealth, but we could go all the way up to people who have more than $3 million. So it really runs a gamut. And I think you're highlighting a really important point, which is that there's not one single plan or number that's going to apply to everybody. There really will be differentiation depending on income level as well as the wealth level. So we really trying to bring that out as part of developing our guide to retirement.
And we're dealing with the, things like not only generational, but the great resignation. We're dealing with people that are transitioning out of the workforce. What I really find is the middle section of the Guide to Retirement really deals with retirees, how to transition. And because as an HR finance professional, no matter how large your organization is, you kind of have that open door policy and people are asking you all kinds of questions. How can the Guide to Retirement help? Even though you're not, as a fiduciary, you can't be giving certain types of advice. How can the Guide to Retirement really help people steer them in the right direction as they're dealing with different life stages?
Yes. Well, just for one, people who are transitioning into retirement, it's not just about the financial means in order to support spending. We also go into some of the qualitative aspects of being happy in retirement. So as you can imagine, the biggest shift that you will see in terms of the hours that we spend throughout our day will be number of hours that we work is going to go away. And that's going to be replaced with number of hours that we use to socialize and pursue other activities. So we really want people to think about, how do you want to fill the time that you're going to have in retirement? It's not just about having enough money to support spending, but just generally being healthy and mentally being prepared. So we go through some of the qualitative aspects of being well in retirement within Guide to Retirement.
Well, Kelly, as we wrap up this first segment, just kind of getting an overall, view of what kind of content's in here. I think it's wonderful that not only are you dealing with the workforce, how people are dealing with different generational aspects, saving, investing, but you also give plan sponsors good reference material about different types of retirement plans and, updating limits, things like that.
Yes, we have reference pages towards the back, very dense tables, but I think it's very handy for people to just rip out and reference. So we update it on an annual basis, what the deferral limits are, the income thresholds, etc. So I think you'll find it pretty helpful. And we try to make the pages very visual so that what we're trying to convey comes across very quickly and in an intuitive way. So please check it out and flip to the section that interests you more.
Well, this is a great way to jump in and kind of give an overview of the Guide to Retirement. So, as we wrap up this first segment, I just want to really thank you for being here. And we will come back with our next segment where we take a deeper dive and talk about some of the big issues that our workforce in the U.S. is dealing with. And so, Kelly, thanks so much for being here. And we'll look forward to coming back and talking more about the longevity in the workforce.
So thank you. I look forward to it.
That's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, we'd love for you to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you access your podcasts. The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Global Retirement Partners, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Global Retirement Partners, Washington Financial Group, a division of Hub International Mid-Atlantic, and Hub International are not affiliated with LPL Financial. Global Retirement Partners, LPL Financial, Washington Financial Group, and Hub International are not affiliated in any way with the services offered by any guest on this show.
Poor Jeff, he's having to listen to this conversation. All right, hopefully Jeff can edit that, right?